Hi guys, very good evening to you. This is video number 337, and in this video I'm going to actually talk on a couple of subjects on the Excel VBA subjects. As you can see on the screen, we are going to talk about the some selections, how to select the columns, and we're going to talk about the arrays, loop, and function. So this is going to be your, you can say it is a assignment or quiz, whatever you want to name it. So these are the basically the questions which when you go for the VBA interviews, and if you're looking for sort of practice, if you think that you're good enough in VBA and you want to check that where do you actually score in the Excel VBA, so this is the perfect assignment for you. So let us go ahead and discuss this video number 337. For those who are watching the channel for the first time, we have different 42 playlists so far on this channel, guys, and they are divided into 4 categories: Excel, Excel VBA, and Access VBA. Need to, if you just scroll it down, you would see everything here. Based on the title, you can go to the playlist and you can see all the videos. The videos are a mixture of basic, intermediate, and advanced level. So the video which I'm talking about, that you're gonna see under this playlist, where I have already, you can see, uploaded amazing 33 videos on Access, Excel, and VBA, right? So let's go ahead, and here we have the first question for you. So question says that make a program in a way that it should always copy the data from header 4 to header 6. These headers can be interchanged in the title bar. So this is basically your title bar. Let me explain this question to you. This is the title bar, and here you can see that we have the header 1, header 2, header 3, header 4, and so on. The point is you need to make a macro which should always, if I click on that macro, if I click on the button, is going to be linked with my macro, then should have always this data selected, right? This data has to be selected, but there is a condition. I just change this header 2 to header 4, for example, and then I'm going to change this maybe header 4 to header 6. Then what should happen the next time when you're going to click on that button, guys, you need to, your macro should pick up this range automatically. So this is what exactly we are going to do right away. Okay, so how you can attain this result, you're gonna make this macro. First thing which you can do is you can find out header number 4. You can capture the row number of header 4. At the same time, you can find the header 6 as well, and you can find the header 6 column. Then we can simply use column this to this. We need to select, or maybe because it is, we have not, they have not asked the basically the column, so maybe you can use the range word as well. So in that way, you need to select the first the C1, and you need to pick up a E column from here, and then E should be concatenated with the last row, which is going to be the 6. So this is how we're going to plan the things. Right now the question comes, these header 4 and this is header 6, they can be changed, they can be anywhere. So how you actually going to do that? How you gonna set up this dynamic? So we are going to select this first row, and I'm simply going to find out header 4. And if I press Control F and I just write a header 4, you know that if I'm going to use this and if I'm going to click on the find next, it will directly take me to that cell, right? Even if you have, let's say, header 4 here and header 4 here or header 4 here, first header 4 is going to be selected, and that is where, guys, we are going to actually capture the cell. We're going to capture the address of that cell which we're going to use. Simple as that. And then similarly, another find we are going to use, which we're going to use here, header 6. And when you click on the find next, it's going to take you to the header 6. If you know the code, you can directly start selection.find. But if you do not know the code, not a problem, just quickly go to the developer tab and record the macro for this, right? So I'm going to keep this macro one to save the time, and then you just do this, select the entire row, and then press Control and then search for the header 4. When you're going to click here find next, it takes you to that. Fine, that's enough. Just close this and stop recording. Okay, we're gonna in the Visual Basic, and here this module 1, this is what exactly it is all about, selection.find, which I was talking about, right? So here we can do one thing. First of all, I'm going to change the macro name. So this is, I'm going to name it as question number 1, which is question number 1. So right here, question number 1, right? The row number 1 is going to be selected, and this header 4 we are going to look. So everything remains same. You can actually delete all these format, you can actually delete this, and you can just simply keep this option selected, or selection dot find what equal to header 4, and that's it. It is going to work. But just in case, I mean, there's no need to do that. There's no need to delete that. Just keep it like this. But the important point is, now once your active cell comes, you will have to declare. So I'm going to write here the first cell as string. This is what I'm going to declare. Now this is what you need to do. So you write here first cell equals to active cell dot. Now what do you want to do? Do you want to find the column number? Do you want to find the row number? Or do you want to find the address? You have everything here, guys. So I think we be interested in finding out the address, because address is going to give me the C1. That is what I need for select range. So I'm going to keep it like this first cell, right? Now in the next line, what we will do, we will quickly copy this. We're going to find it out another header, which is going to be 6, and then you can define here the second cell equals to active cell address. Okay, so in this way we will have first cell and second cell. So let us just go ahead and define this as well. So now I'm going to run this and let's see how it is going to work. So there we go. Now start this header 4. Header 4 comes, and what is the active cell address? It's $C$1. Perfect. Then you're going to capture the second cell, and you can see here it captures the E1 as well. Now the point here is important is that you can use the C1 because that is a starting point, but we need to capture the last row, which is belongs to the same column, which is to belongs to this E column. So first we will actually have to replace this 1. We will have to replace this 1 with the the 6. So how you can do that? Well, there are a number of ways of doing it. You can possibly use the you can remove the dollar part from the $1, and then you can join it with the $6. That is also possible, but I think good way to be simply replace that 1 with the 6, because you know that the headers are always on the first row. So if they are going to be on the first row, it doesn't matter even if the header 6 is on the column F or H, it will always return 1, and that has to be replaced with row number 6. This time it is row number 6, so we can make it dynamic. So I can write here another variable, which is I'm going to declare here as that to be, let's say, replaced. Be replaced. So this is what you want to write, to be replaced as long. Okay, and be replaced, and let me just make it short. Replace. Let me just write RPL. That's it. Okay. I'm gonna capture the obviously the last row as well. So this is how you're going to capture the range, and then I'm gonna write from which cell, any cell we can pick up. We can pick up the B, because if you have the data in the B, then obviously all the columns are going to have the same number of rows. So we can start from the B100, and I can simply calculate this Excel up and the row number. Okay, so this is going to give me the row number, guys. Now once I have this row number, I have to replace it with this this the number which I was getting, this second cell, which was 1. So what we will do here, we're going to use a function called replace. So you will use the replace function, and we're going to store that value in maybe a variable called, say, store value equals to, you write the replace function, and in the replace function, what is the expression means what is that string. String is going to be second cell, which will tell me, for example, in this particular case, it's going to tell me header 6 is in this E1, so it is going to tell me $E$1, right? So in this replace, what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to replace my 1 with what? Okay, so I'm going to replace it with RPL, and that's it. Okay, in that case, in this way, I think we're going to have our value which has to be E6. So let me just close this, and let's go ahead and run this. So there we go. Variable not defined. Okay, so I just forgot to declare this variable, so let us declare this variable here. So val as a string, I'm going to declare it as a string because it is going to give me the cell address. Will not defined. Alright, it's actually not value. I just delete this store one. There we go. Let's go ahead, and row number 1 is selected, guys. You know that I'm on the head 4. You can see that it has selected that. I'm going to capture this. This is C1. Now once I'm going to use the header 6. I'm going to find the header 6. I have here E$1. Now we're going to capture the row number, which is 6. Here in the E$1, which is second cell, I'm saying that 1 has to be replaced with 6. So let's see what we're gonna get here. Right, let me see. Oh, there we go. You can see that it says $E$6, right? So here you can simply write then range, and then in the range you have to give your variable. So generally this is how you write, right? If I have to select my range, let's say from A1 colon to maybe let's say B5, this is how we select it, right? So now in this particular case, obviously we have got the A1, and that A1, when the starting point, it is going to come from the first cell. So I'm going to write here first cell, because first cell is going to tell me the position of address of header 4. So this is going to be concatenated, and we're going to put this within the quote, and then you again to concatenate it with the another variable, which is store and the score val. I guess that's it. And this quote has to be removed. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this, and let me see if I'm going to select this. Oh yeah, there we go, guys. See that it has selected. Perfect. It's C1 and it's E6. So this is how you can make this program. Now if I'm just going to change this, maybe just put the, let's say header 6 is here, and I'm going to change this header to maybe header 61, let's say, or 68, whatever. Now header 4 is here and header 6 here. So we're going to create a button quickly over here. So put the insert and click on this button. Let me drag this. Let me assign the macro over here, and this is my question number 1. Let me click here. All right, so it's not working. We have to see actually. Okay, so I got the point actually. I think what happened is, this is very interesting. Now you have to see that if I'm going to click here, what happened? Got the header 4, and then when you click here, you've got this header 68 now being selected, and which is very wrong. Now if you're wondering what is getting wrong, I'll tell you one thing. This is really a beautiful thing, you know. I wasn't expecting this actually. This just came as a surprise to me as well. So this is very nice. This is a good exercise. Now guys, header 6 is what we are actually doing. We are saying that find the header, you know what you need to find header 6, and after active cell look in formula, that's fine. But you look at this, you're saying look at excel part. Excel part means that header 6, it is actually header 68. Also header 6 is coming, it contains header 6. So this is what exactly it says, excel part. So you got to change this to excel whole. So when you actually use this control F, I'm not now recording anything, I just use control F, and when you're going to click on this find next, you see that I just click here, it takes me to this header 68, because of the reason I have here header 6, which is a part of header 68, right? So it is going to capture that. So what if we want the complete value? So in that case, you click on the option and say that you have to find the entire content. Now if you just close this, and let's do it again. So if I'm just going to click control F, and now I'm going to find it out, see that it will take me to the header 6 only. It is going to skip 68 because of this match entire cell content. Now this is not going to act as a contain, right? Very nice. So here when you record this, I think you get to see here excel whole, the whole word, right? This is what you see. So let's see, if I'm just going to click here, yeah, this is working, guys. This is working. Very nice. You can see that this is working, right? And if just in case, if I just go ahead and say that 64 again, and I just change this to header 6, if I again going to hit here, yes, this is working. Very nice. So this is how, guys, you can make this code. Let's go to the question number 2. Okay, so how are we going to find the row number of second word flow? Now, this list looks like a normal loop, but there is some, there is a one actually. The thing, there is a catch, that word flow is coming twice. This one and this one. You need to find the position of the second flow. How are you gonna do that? Well, you can run the loop very quickly, but in this case, first flow has to be skipped. So what you will do is you just click on the Visual Basic, and let's go to the insert module, and let's create here question number 2. Okay, so now I'm gonna run the loop, and so the loop is going to be dim I as integer. We're going to use the for next loop. For I equals to, I'm going to run it how many times? Well, I need to run this 7 times, so I can write it 7 times, not a problem. Or you can write here the range from the A10 also. This is what you can do. From A100, let's say, use the control up arrow, and this will take us to the last row. So this is the very dynamic. What we are going to do is we're going to actually find out the row number. So we'll write here if the cells, the value in the cell, which is I and the column number 1 dot value equals to flow. Okay, now if it's a case sensitive, guys, we need to ensure that you know how which flow actually they have written. So you can't write here in the caps like this. Well, I have a solution. I mean, if you have that kind of a problem, you can use the upper and the lower functions, but in my case it is not so, because everything is in the small case. So I'm simply going to write a flow. Don't write in caps, right? If the value of the flow is this, then what we want to do, the capture row. So I'm going to declare here capture row. Okay, capture row, we're going to use it, and at the same time we're going to use it capture row in the I, because I is the one which is going to run. Else what we will do, else we will simply say and if. Okay, so this is what we need to do. Now the point is, this is going to give you value. Let me first of all create this as well here as long. If we run this, I think this is going to give us the second, right? If we just run it, so here we have the list. We can see here this entire portion. This should give us list, because that's my first cell. I can put the watch on this to explain you, so just go and check that. So here we're gonna run this. You can see it is list, so it is not equals to that, so definitely it goes to the next row. Now here it finds, and you know, this is what you will see in the cap row, which is 2, which is correct, but we want to skip that. So what we will do here is, the first time when this loop is going to run, you know, when it is going to get in this into this, then what we're going to do, we're going to actually put the condition here that if it is a second run or it is the first run, right? So in the second run we want to capture it, so we can declare here a variable called this second run as long, and we're going to start the second run. You can keep it empty. So in this case what we will do, we will write here if second run equals to 0, okay, then we should capture the row number. uh, else else what you need to do is, else here we will increment this value second run equals to, we're just going to make it 1. Okay, and to start with this, I'm just going to write here second run equals to 0. So, and the else and the if, that's it. Okay, so in this way I think we will be able to capture this. So we're going to say that if you have equals to 1, then capture the row number of the I, otherwise go to the else and you know, capture this value as 1. So let's run this first of all, and then we will be able to understand. So let's go ahead and run the code. I'm going to put the watch code on this so that we can see. So right click and put the watch code. Okay, so you have a value here, and let's run it. What is the first value? It is list, which is not equals to that, so it goes in the else part, right? And if the second time the flow comes, now the guys, the flow comes, but the second one is 0. So what will happen, it will come in the then mode because the condition is satisfied, but then it will check for the second one, which is 0, because we started the second one as 0. Now it is actually not equals to 1, obviously. So what will happen, it will go in the else mode. Now this is a time when you're gonna make this 1, because remember, this else is going to be executed only when you're actually coming in this then part, and this then part will be executed only when you have the first flow being matched with this cell value. That is where we need this second run equals to 1. Now the second time again the loop runs, and now we have a new value which is called the liquid. You can see here in this watch window, liquid is not equals to obviously flow, so else, and then next, and this time it is again flow. Now if this is flow, then it will, you know, going to execute this part again if, and this time we have already said the previous comparison that second run has to be equals to 1, and it is equals to 1, so that means capture the row number. Once it is going to capture the row number, after this you can just write here message box. You can write here that the row number is, you can write it cap underscore row. Okay, then you can exit from the macro, because there is no need to run the macro then, right? The row number 4 and then exit, and there we go. Wow, this is great. right? So if I just write here flow and I just write here maybe something else, let's say any, anything, right? And if we just create a button, let's see if we're gonna get the second position of the second word, which is flow. So I'm just going to click assign macro and question number 2. I hope you are enjoying these videos. Initially they look very simple, but when you go inside the code, you really find it very tricky. So if I click here, it has to give me answer 6. Oh, wow, I'm loving this. Right, guys, this is a perfect example of the loop. This is beautifully, we have used this beautifully. You see here, especially this cap row, this second one actually, this is something you got to learn, because the rest of the code is very simple. If the task would have been sort of finding the row number of the flow word wherever it comes, I don't really think it's actually really so tough. In fact, even if you know the basic loops, you can you could make that code very easily. But this is a twist that we are finding the second flow, right, which is coming in this table. Right, so let's go to the question number 3. Please create an array which holds the mentioned table item. So you need to create the table, you need to use the arrays, you need to tell your interviewer that you know arrays very well. Because people who do not know the arrays in VBA, I'm sorry to say, I mean they are still they need to enhance their skills. It only means that, right? Arrays are very important part, and I have a lot of videos on the arrays, Excel VBA arrays. Go to that playlist, find out all the relevant 5-6 videos are there. The basic videos there, extremely advanced videos are also there. So we're gonna make the array. So let me just write here array. You can learn the from the video. There's a video I uploaded yesterday, the arrays that basics of the arrays, right, under the playlist Excel VBA array. Go ahead and watch that. In this, because this is a exam, so we that I'm expecting that you guys know everything. So there we go. Now we're gonna create the array. So this is how I'm gonna create array, let's say by my name, and then I'm gonna create this as the string, because everything is string. And I'm going to find the last row as long, and the last row again I'm going to find it out as range, and then 100, and then we're going to use end xlr dot row. Then I'm going to redefine my array, and here we're going to use it like this, last row. I'm again saying, when watch please that video, you will understand it. So once your array is defined, then what you need to do is you need to simply run the loop. So I'm going to run the loop, and this time I'm going to say that for j equals to L bound. L bound is the low bound of array, which means it tells you the lowest position of your array. Upper bound is U bound. It's a function of array which tells you about the highest position, highest index of your array. In this case, it is going to be 8, because your array will start from 0. Array starts with the 0. If we just go ahead and select this and put the watch code on this, let's click on the add watch, and now let me delete this. Okay, so when you're gonna run this, you will get the error. All right, so I hate errors, and actually I love errors. Yes, errors, they tell you a lot of things. Tell you that where do you score? Trust me. If you're a programmer, then that means with just knowing the error in front of you, you should, if you're able to find it out, what is the reason, what could be all be the possible reasons, that this has led to the error. Trust me, you are a good programmer. But if you're just going on the Google side, you're doing rerunning the code and checking what exactly is wrong, I think you really need a lot of practice then, because errors, they tell you the entire story. What script you have written, they tell you about it. Is it a good script? Is it a bad script? Right? So let's go ahead and run this. So guys, last row is 9. So 9 means that we're gonna pass this 9. So when I run this line, you see that the plus sign would come here, and now it has a scope of absorbing the 9 numbers. Now 9 numbers means that 0 to 9 makes it 10. So when you're gonna run this, first of all you need to reduce this array by 1, because it starts with the 0. So balance it out, I'm going to subtract. Now next time what we want to do, we want to fill this array. So I'm going to start with the J and I'm going to say that cells and then row number is going to be J and the column number is going to be 1. As simple as that, right? So here we will have the J. J is going to be 0 initially because lower bound is going to give the 0. That's the lowest position. So I can add +1 to it. Okay. Now I think we are perfect and I'm going to run this code. So let's go ahead and run this. So we have here, you can see that now 8 numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 5. So the J is going to start with the 0. This lower bound means the lowest position. That's the lowest position. Highest position is 8. So if you hover your mouse here, you get to see 8. Perfect. So 0 to 8 means 9 times the loop is going to run. So I have here 0 index, which means as a 0 is going to be equals to 0 plus 1, which makes it 1, 1. Cell 1 comma 1 means that you are on the first row and the first column, which is going to be little. So in this way, next now it's going to run 8 times. So when you run it, you have all the values here like this, and this is the last time it is running, and there we go. Guys, this is how you can form this array, and if you can clear this, you can bet that your interviewer is going to, definitely select you for this, because arrays, very few people actually know that, right? So it's always good to know that. Alright, so let's come to the last question. Now create a function with the name join me. It should join first name and last name. So you got to create here a function which should look like this, join me. And when you select that, select this and then this, and you press enter, you should be able to get Angela Smith and so on. Willem and Ajay Parmar. Right? So we are talking about the VBA function. You can do that very easily in the Excel. You can simply say that and operator. I know that, right? But this is in the VBA. In the VBA also you can use a function. I think there is a join function. But anyways, we're not going to do that because your question, it is said you got to make a function name of join me. So let's go to the Visual Basic and I'm going to insert this module. Guys, if you don't know anything about the functions, please go ahead and check out Excel VBA function series. So function starts with the function word, and this is where my function will come. Any parameters I need? I need two parameters. One is called the I, which is going to be string, and then the another one is j, which is again going to be string, and the output of the function is also going to be string. Right? So now what will happen? User is going to select I and j. So what I need is want to write here m equals to I and j, concatenate it, right? Then finally, to return the value, you write the function name before the end function and you write the m here. So declare your m as well. What will happen? The function j is going to be created. Well, by the way, you actually wanted to create join me function, join me, right? And so here I'm going to replace that and me this. Perfect. Okay. So now how to operate this? Come here, join me. I've already put the breakcode there so that the code should stop, and your user is going to select A2 and B2. When she presses enter, the function is going to run. So now you can see that this I is going to hold the Angela and this is going to hold the Smith, right? Because this is how the function works. These are the basics of the functions. And finally, you're going to concatenate here Angela Smith. You can put the space here, hyphen, whatever you want, but that's fine. And now it's very important. In the end, before the end function, you got to write your function name. So function name is here, which is join me, and it is equals to Angela Smith, and there we go, right? So if I just move this break code, next time when I'm going to run this, see, it is going to be so quick. So we can drag this formula as well. There we go. Perfect. When you drag it, will and m are going to pass on from the Excel to this function, the I and the j, and the I is going to have is going to hold a will and j is going to hold your m, and that's how it is. So you can also write like this. So if I write join me and I write, let's say, l and comma k, okay, if I press enter, see that is happening now. So basically, if you write this kind of a function, it's very interesting to see then why it is actually giving you the error, right? So if I just here, this is not a part of your exercise. I mean, I'm just telling you, I'm just giving you the extra information. Let's see what happened. So when you're going to use this function join me, let me put the code here. So I think the break code is not either working, because if I just click here, it's not even working, and perhaps because of the reason that parameters are not acted as a string. So if I just go ahead and use this kind of a stuff, there we go, guys. when you put that in the quotes, they're going to be considered as, you know, see here I is I and J is going to have K. So finally we will have answer IK. So don't forget to put the quotes because parameters are string. Well, this is only applicable for the in that situation we have the cells. Otherwise, you're going to use the cells, or automatically they're going to be treated as string. So this is all about these 4 questions. I hope this, today is going to increase your knowledge, going to increase your confidence, and I will wait for your comment. And don't forget to click on the like if really going to like this video. And guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I will be back with some another exciting, some more exciting stuff very soon. Take care of yourself and have a happy learning. Thank you so much for watching.